Good morning. Welcome to the Markets Hub, everybody. I am Paul Vigna. A lot of news today, a lot of news. We have some breaking news. We're going to Russia right now because the trial of the feminist punk band Pussy Riot has ended. The verdict is in, and Lukas Alpert is here to tell us what happened. Give me the 5 W's, Lukas. What happened?
Well, sure. Today, the judge ruled and convicted the 3 women involved in the protest and sentenced them to 2 years in prison each, or penal colony, I should say. It was the end of a 8-day-long trial of an event that had occurred back in February during the run-up to the presidential election. These young women had gone into the main church here in Moscow, sort of the equivalent for your New York viewers of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and had done what they called a punk prayer, where they dressed up in sort of these balaclava masks and sort of multicolored dresses, did sort of a somewhat lewd dance and a performance to a punk rock song that they had written that was Holy Mother, Drive Putin Out. Right. And they then put the video up on YouTube where it became a big hit, and they were arrested shortly thereafter in charge of hooliganism. And here we are about 5-6 months later, and they've now been convicted.
Yeah, I actually watched the video this morning. The song's pretty good. It's actually not a bad song.
If you like punk rock.
Yeah. We were live blogging this, and a lot of the commentary said that this was a show trial, it was a sham, sort of brought up all that Soviet era, sort of felt like the Soviet era again. What has been the reaction there in Moscow? I mean, the reaction outside internationally has certainly been that this is a complete travesty of justice. What's the reaction inside Moscow?
Well, I mean, it's been a bit of a mixed reaction. I mean, there certainly are people here, devout followers of the church who were quite offended by what these women did. And but I think the general feeling was that while people felt it was wrong, overwhelmingly, and there was poll data to back this up, most people didn't feel like that they really should go to prison for this. They'd sat in sort of pretrial detention since the very beginning. They've been jailed from day one. And, but I think that there was definitely, more of a feeling here that what they did was maybe morally wrong, but, there was a question of whether it was really a criminal act.
Right. Now, Lukas, you were in the courtroom this morning. Take us inside. We have an image right now of one of the girls literally in a cage. Take us inside the courtroom today. What was going on in there?
Well, I actually did not make it inside the courtroom. There was a massive media crunch to get in. It was a very small courthouse, a very small courtroom. There were hundreds of reporters from all over the world trying to get in. So really the action was almost outside the courthouse. But yes, I mean, this is the way they do trials here. They put the accused in these sort of cages, basically, or these glass boxes, and that's the way the trial's been conducted all along. I mean, it looks shocking, but it is the sort of the norm here. Yeah.
Now, how do you think this is going to affect Russia? I mean, is this really sort of a sort of sea change moment for Russia in the eyes of certainly the international community and even within the country? I mean, this thing has really caught fire. What happens for Russia after this?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, of course, but I mean, this has certainly been one of several incidences here of, signs of that the Kremlin under Putin's third term are now not really going to stand for any dissent. They've, arrested some, opposition leaders. They've, done this trial. They've passed a number of laws to make it harder for any sort of protest or dissent to occur. So clearly, I mean, this is the latest and probably the strongest sign that, the Kremlin is like, there's no nonsense with them anymore.
Yeah.
Internally, again, this has just been one of multiple things that have been happening. So it's hard to say if this will be the thing that will, trigger off, whatever it might trigger off.
Any kind of
but certainly
backlash, sure. Lukas, I'm sorry to cut you off. We have to leave it there. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you soon. You can follow that one. Like we said, it's all over WSJ.com. We'll have it in the paper, obviously.